What's going on, everyone? So these clips are from a backpacking trip with some friends in the eastern Sierra of California in an area called the Little Lakes Valley. I've heard that this area has a lot of fish, and I wanted to see if that was true, so I ended up bringing my snorkeling gear and wetsuit to see what it's like below the surface. It added quite a bit of weight, but with what I ended up seeing, I'm really glad I brought it. This trail starts at around 10,000 feet, so with the altitude, I wouldn't be doing any long breath hold dives, but I was still really excited to get in the water. We heard that the lake at the highest point, Gem Lake, was the prettiest, so we were aiming to get up there to set up camp, and ended up passing 4 or 5 other really nice lakes along the way. Once we got to Gem Lake, we started seeing fish cruising the shore, so we set up camp quick and got started right away. And the water here is fed by direct snowmelt, so the color is really blue, just super unique. Ended up getting this nice little brook trout. Pretty small, but the colors were super vibrant. By now I was really excited to get in the water. And it was pretty cold, so the full wetsuit was definitely needed here. At this point, I hadn't seen any brook trout yet. I snorkel quite a bit at these lakes in the High Sierra, and I know that brook trout can be really skittish, so I try to be as stealthy as I can. I ended up finding this first one here, but I must have moved too quick based on how fast he swam away. I finally found where a lot of them were schooled up, right by this inlet, so I tried to not make any sudden movements and scare them off this time. But even then, with these brook trout, this is about as close as I got to these guys. You'll see in a minute how much different rainbow trout are. They're a lot more curious and will come right up to you. Earlier in the day, we heard from some others about a couple of lakes a few miles from where we were camping that supposedly had a lot of fish. So we decided to make the hike to check it out, and it ended up being definitely worth the effort. Our main goal was the second lake, but when we saw some decent-sized rainbows cruising, we had to just set a timer and fish for a little bit at the very least. Once we arrived at the second lake, it was really just non-stop action. And after about 10 minutes of catching on pretty much every cast, I knew I had to hop in the water. While the visibility wasn't as clear at first, it didn't take long to find these rainbow trout. You can see here, these rainbows are very different from the brook trout earlier. They'll come right up to you and have no problem checking you out. I was shocked at not just how many there were, but some of them were fairly decently sized too. When I've been to honey holes like this in the past, the trout are usually stunted in growth, but there must be enough food sources here for them to grow. But we couldn't stay forever, and we wanted to get back to camp before it got dark that night. A lot of the time in the backcountry, I feel like if you go beyond where everyone else is, you have a good chance at finding these really, really nice spots.